Now I give the floor back to Robert, and I believe you can't wait to introduce Interclean China to all of us. Your turn.
Thank you, Simon. Indeed, I can't wait. We've spoken a lot about China, about the opportunities to do business in China. So I'm pleased to announce the introduction of Interclean China in January of the coming year. So what does this mean, Interclean China? Well, it means that we want to bring the successful and proven concept of Interclean to China. I've said it before, to bring cleaning innovation and to bring cleaning value to China. But what does this mean in practice? Well, in practice, that means that we want to organize an international trade show. And that means that at least 20% of the exhibitors are originally from outside of China. International manufacturers that want to enter the market, enter the Chinese market and to import their products and innovations to China. Speaking of innovations, we want to highlight and empower innovation. We see, we understand, we hear that there is a lot of demand for new products, new technologies, new services in China. So we want to highlight and empower that at the event with an innovation hall and a practical knowledge and exchange program with demonstrations and workshops. The event is supported by local and international communities. Some of them you've already seen in this webinar. And we want to bring the professional and personal approach that Interclean in Amsterdam is famous for also to China. And that means a dedicated team here in Amsterdam and in China with people that know the industry, that know the trends and developments, and most importantly, that know the people that are in the industry, because we are a people's business. First event will take place in Beijing, but we want to make sure that we bring cleaning value and cleaning innovation to the entire country of China. And that means that in the future, the event will be rotating between different cities, different regions to serve all the different needs and all the different sectors in China. And we're not doing this alone. We want to work together with the industry, professionalize the cleaning industry in China. And one of the means of how we do that is with the help of the steering committee. Simon will tell more about that later, but you may have already noticed that the connection in Shanghai is from a big meeting room with a lot of people there, and that is our steering committee, a group of associations, exhibitors, would be on working together to professionalize the cleaning industry. But what does this mean for international companies that want to do business in China? What kind of opportunities are there? Well, you've already seen some statistics from Mr. Simon Chen and from Mr. Peter Hoog, but I also wanted to share with this graph with you. A very recent study from the World Bank and the IMF, and it showed that it expected that in 2024, China will be the world's largest economy. But not just China is topping the list. You also see India, Japan, and Indonesia there. And China is the ideal jumping board to do business in those countries. But what does this mean in practice for international companies? Well, we see, for example, that the Chinese UCOM market is professionalizing, looking for services and solutions instead of products. I think that as international exhibitors, international companies, we can bring a lot of best practices from Europe, from the United States, and from other Western countries to China. We also see a stronger demand for Western cleaning standards and hygiene standards, not just in the major cities that everybody knows, the cities like Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, the so-called first-tier cities, but also in second and third-tier cities. These are cities I've never heard of personally, but there are millions of people living there, and many international companies are expanding their businesses, moving their manufacturing plants or their offices to these kind of cities, increasing the demand for new standards over there. It's becoming easier to travel to China, for, well, maybe not this year because of the COVID-19 crisis, but as soon as that is over and the travel restrictions will be lifted, we will be able to travel much more easily to China with transit visas up to 7 days in some cities even. Additionally, we see a growing understanding of importance in healthcare and for the environment, which all, again, the international companies can take the lead in to show those best practices and to bring those innovations. And finally, another point I would like to address is the Made in China 2025 program by the Chinese government, which is setting a new a directive for Chinese companies to become real OEM providers to innovate themselves, which makes it more safer and more easier for European and other international companies to import their innovations to China without risk of IP infringement. We also want to make it easy for international companies to do business in China with our international hub. If I could have the next slide, please. We see Interclean China as an international hub. It's a hub for the cleaning industry. And we also built an international hub on the trade show floor, which means that we make it easy for companies to do business at the trade show, because we know it's hard. If you don't have a business yet in China, if you don't have an office yet in China, our international hub helps you with this, with ready to use stands, translator pool, matchmaking services, IP support, and a networking lounge. And the event will take place in the middle of the beautiful Olympic Park in Beijing, in the modern convention center, with all the facilities nearby, hotels, subways, and easy reach from the airport. So I'm very excited to get started with this event in January. And we can't do that alone. We do that together with the steering committee. So I'd like to give the word back to Simon, who will introduce these great men and women who help us organize the event in China.
Everybody saying goodbye and looking forward to seeing you guys.
Thank you,
in China.
everybody. Thank you. See you in
Bye.
China. Bye.
Yeah, see you in China. Bye. 这样，因为这一部分呢是欧洲的线上发布会，所以那边有很多的国际的观众，中文呢就相对我们只能这个错失这一部分。